Evening all, where are we? Hope to see a few of you in tonight. Maybe a few of you will jump on and have your view on the new interim manager at Spurs, Mr. Tudor. Good evening, Marianne. Hope you're well. And Dominic's in as well. Good evening, Dominic. Good evening. Yeah, I thought we'd jump on here and have a little chat about Mr. Tudor and what it means for Spurs and where do we go from here, and is he the right fella to do the job? Is anyone concerned that it's not the right fit for Spurs? I don't know. Maybe we'll get a few in. Big up Andrew. Maybe we'll get a few in and a few people will jump on. The link is at the top of the chat. That's about the best I could do. Big up Dash. Dash is in from India. Big up to you, Dash. What do you think, Dash? What do you think of Igor Tudor as the interim manager, the man to save Spurs this season from relegation? Because I said it on Danalist a little while ago. For me, if we go down, he'll just wander off into the sunset and he just won't have a job for 3 months, and he'll go Saudi or something or do whatever. Because he hasn't got that connection with the club. But at the same time, he might come in. I think we'll probably need 4 wins, maybe, to get out of trouble. Who knows? Big up to you, CEM. Big up to you, mate. I hope you're well. And Andrew's in. Yep, he did, Andrew. Patrici wanted Tudor in after the Arsenal game in November. Yep. He was mentioned in December, apparently, by Paratici. And was blatant. It was a no. It was a no. Now, all of a sudden, Paratici's gone. And I can't believe for a second he had nothing to do with Tudor coming back this way. Big up, Leslie. I hope you're well, mate. I hope you're well. Thanks for being in. Appreciate it. Hopefully the numbers will grow as we go on. What's Dash saying? Dash saying, I haven't followed up with him a lot, but what I'm hearing, he seems like a man who can ensure that we stay up. Also, since it's an interim role, he seems like a decent pick. Well, following on from that comment, Dash, this could very well be what's going to be happening. Is he the interim to get Pochettino? Who knows? Who knows? But at the end of the day, he seems like he's got a decent record when he needs to do bits and pieces. He looks like he's done it with Juve in the past. So I don't know. It's one of them. It's a bit left field. I don't think anyone that I know or that I've seen pick this fella. And perhaps that's what it needs. Perhaps it needs someone. I mean, I was of the opinion that perhaps we needed someone that sort of knew the Spurs way, if you like, if you want to put it that way. Knew a bit about the club, but what goes on and so on and so forth. Evening, Mario. Hope you're well. He says it's underwhelming. Couldn't help feeling angry when we found out about the appointment. Really hoped for a Redknapp Sherwood. It was a massive decision, Mario. Massive decision. Huge for the football club. And that's what people have got to understand now. They've made the decision, and let's hope it works, because if it don't, Mario, we're down. He rides off into the sunset, and then what happens? All that's going to happen is we're down. There'll be a fire sale. Anyone that's anything worth anything, you know it's going to happen. He has a slim link with Spurs, having played in the same team as Modric, Cranshaw and Corluka. Yes, he was was he a sort of centre-back, defensive midfield type fella? I remember he used to put it about a bit back in the day when he played. He didn't take no prisoners. But who knows? Who knows? It's going to be interesting because none of us really know what to expect. But what I do know is that I can swear a little bit because we're late. This is fucking serious now. There ain't no messing about here. You know, as Spurs fans, there's only one thing that needs to be accomplished, and that is get 4 wins. Hopefully one of them will be against the Gooners next week. I doubt it, but you never know. You never know. I'm sure that Mikel Arteta is already frantically looking through the history books to see how this fella plays his football, so he can try to set up his team to, nullify it. Who knows? It's interesting in that aspect because you can look and see what he's tried to do before. And will he try and implement that with the players he's got available at Spurs? He likes to play 3 at the back, apparently. Have we got the necessary numbers to play 3 at the back? Do we want to be dropping our Paulinho into a 3 at the back system because we're short of players? I don't know. I don't know. But, we'll see if he's flexible in what he's got. We'll see. To be fair, if he's going to play a 3-5-2, I think you'll see Sousa play as a wing back, maybe. I don't know. It is really interesting. Yeah, I would assume so as well, Andrew. I mean, he's not going to be doing it for nothing, is he? So I'm sure he'll be on a few quid, and he'll be on a few quid to keep us up as well in the short term. But fair play to him if he does it. Another thing I will say is I think the fans, and I said it again on Dan's show earlier, I think the fans are going to play a massive, massive part in what happens, because I truly believe that we've got to get behind this manager, whether you know him, whether you like him, whether you don't like him, whether his style of football is not up your street. I think it's really, really important for the fan base to unite on this, because, when we get going as fans, and we haven't seen it a lot over the past few years, but when we get going, we can make a racket. And when I say get behind them, I'm talking about even when it's going a bit wrong, because it don't go right all the time. I think that's really, really important. Really important. But again, that side of it would be interesting as well, because I'm sure there's already people, this bloke's crap, da-da-da-da-da. I've looked into him vaguely, I mean, you've got to sit there for hours if you want to study someone, haven't you? To be fair, it's not like a 5-minute read. Not if you want to look at it properly. But it is what it is at the end of the day. Big up to you, Lee. May the force be with you too, sir. And this is correct as well, Mario. He does have a great chance to get off to a great start. It don't get no bigger than his game next weekend. He's going to have a few days, hopefully, to work with some of the players. And again, as I said on Dan's, hopefully he'll have a bit of time to have them on the training pitch, try and get something into them, as in regards to forward play. Because you've seen over the past few weeks, we defend all right. We get it up to Solanke, nothing. You get it up to Simmons, nothing. Odibert, nothing. And it just keeps coming back because it's either one of them or the other, just there on their own. And then we're not getting up there to support them. We've got no out ball. And it's concerning. And at the end of the day, this fella's only got the same players that Choo had. And he did need to be replaced, by the way. As much as I championed him, I was obviously wrong. I'm very disappointed I'm wrong as well, to be honest, because I almost thought this was like going down the Pochettino route again. Not in the style of play so much, but a manager that was up and coming and that was given a great chance to just have a great status, I suppose. I don't know. Big up to Scott. How are you, Scott?
Oh, doing well. Yourself? I didn't know if you'll see my comment coming up here. I didn't know if you were going for one of your famous rants here, so I didn't want to jump
there's
in.
no rant, mate. It's I've got the link up the top of the chat, Scott. Anyone wants to come on, they're more than welcome. I really put the show on, Scott, just to see what people's views are about. Big up to Mark, by the way. Just what people's views are about, the appointment of Tudor. Is he capable of doing what needs to be done with the players that he's got? Can he get a tune out of them? That type of thing, Scott. Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start off with kind of a terrible way when we're streaming, but I don't have a strong opinion either way about him. I'll say this: he's certainly not someone who I think, okay, now our problems are solved, or now I feel better about it. The one thing I will say is that is a little concerning is the people that do seem to know him, or at least the people who seem to have a strong opinion either way, it seems to be pretty much 100% negative. Like, I don't see a lot of people that have a strong opinion about him positively outside of, I'm sure there's, Spurs fans who, if one of us three were announced as the manager, they would say that we're world class and going to be amazing. So,
yeah.
But my concern is the people that do seem to have a strong opinion, which doesn't necessarily mean much, but there's a lot of people who seem to be like, no. Who knows? And I don't even know if that's relevant. I mean, I honestly think, not to say that a manager is going to have no impact, but I think a lot of the way, whether we're going to stay up or not, is going to have to do with the other teams. I mean, I think it's quite possible, Mark, what I've said is that I think the other teams are going to be bad enough that we stay up. And I also think that you could bring Pep Guardiola out here, and if you're starting Tell Odebert up front with Muani, who doesn't seem to give a care at all, and Solanke, then I'm not sure what that manager is going to do. So we'll see. It's not something where I'm like, it's terrible. The one thing I do like hearing a lot of the options were, Jermaine Defoe, who I loved as a player, but it's never managed before. I don't think you want somebody like that. Harry Redknapp, who I love dearly, but hasn't managed in almost, I think, 8 years and is 79 years old. Like, you can't do that. I don't want Robbie Keane coming from the Hungarian league. Never worked here. At least this guy is a manager, whether he's great or not. But you know what I mean? Like, he's managed teams. He's got experience. It's not going to be like we're asking him to come in and learn how to manage. He knows how to manage. Whatever happens after that, we'll see. But that's my initial thoughts.
Yeah, fair play, Scott. Hello, Mark. How are you, mate?
I'm good, gentlemen. How are we both?
Very well, Mark. Your initial thoughts about Mr. Tudor and what you think he can get up to, and the post itself, actually, from Enoch or from wherever it's come from.
Well, I think Scott was absolutely bang on. I don't think there was one single person who even mentioned his names on YouTube or any other thing. To be honest, I remember him as a defender. To be honest, his management career has been a little bit interesting, shall we say the least, or colourful. I don't quite know what to make of it. As soon as it was announced, it didn't fill me with, wow, this is going to be spectacular. This is going to be, revolutionise Spurs. It's going to change Spurs. I just don't know really what to expect, to be honest. Yeah, I've heard two different people said. One said he's attacking. One said he's pragmatic. So Sever said he's pragmatic. Still says he's attacking. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, we will. And I think that's the interesting thing, because we don't know a lot about him, chaps, that, from what I've read, it says that he likes to play a 3-5-2. He likes to play three at the back. That bothers me a bit straight away because of the injuries and what's available and suspensions and that type of thing. I haven't really read that he's majorly flexible. He can go to a 3-4-2-1. He can play a 3-4-3. at the end of the day, the personnel that's available, lads, is the personnel. Can he get something extra out of them, or are they just, can he lift that confidence in them, nick them somewhere along the line, and try and get them rolling a little bit?
I think we and Scott share the same opinion. I think we've taken an absolute miracle to make something that's not great suddenly become good. I have no faith in the players. I think me and Scott have mentioned it both many, many times. That
I have to ask though, Mark, for the show's sake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I suppose like there'll be a lot of fans because they wear the shirt. They'll be like, yeah, he's going to range their game 10%, 20%. But these players, especially the forwards, have shown throughout their whole careers they can't score goals. There was a stat out the other day. I don't know if you guys saw it. Was it 60, 80 games? He's got 5 GA between 4 of them. There's just no goals here, guys. There's no goals. I mean, if this manager came into Lookman signing and Akalush one other, you'd probably say, yeah, he's got plenty enough there to keep us up.
Yeah,
but
agreed.
I just don't see where the goals come from.
Yeah, I mean, my concern, you say it, and it seems pretty clear. The one thing about him is he does like the back three. Now, I mean, every manager, even Conte, played a back four at some point, right? Is we talk about a back three, and then you look at who we have available, and it's sort of like what is he going to do? Even if he is a good manager, like does he have the option to do what he has? And that goes for anyone, right? So sure, it's great if we're saying he has a back three, if he has a healthy Romero who isn't on suspension, if he has Van de Veen, if he has Dragasine and Danso, and he has a healthy Porro and a healthy Spence and a healthy Udogi. But how many of those guys are going to be healthy, right? So already when you have him coming in, this is one of the problems why I think bringing him in now, it makes so little sense, is that you already ask him to come in. It's a hard job to get these players going, whether you rate them or not, but when all the injuries and you don't even have the option, like what are we going to put out for a back three system out there playing wing back? Like we hope Porro's back, but if Porro isn't back, Spence and Souza, right? Gray can't play wing back. You're not going to put him at wing back. Souza, so you're asking a 19-year-old Brazilian who's played, I think, 26 games in the last 2 years to play against Arsenal. And this is the concern, right? And this isn't even about him, but that's what I've read about him, is he likes the back three. That seems to be the primary thing that he's going to do. Can he even do it? He likes to play, I think they said the 3-4-2-1 is what I've read. With the two often being two attacking midfielders. Well, maybe you put Moani and Simmons in those roles. Maybe you try Moani in that role. But do we even have two attacking midfielders to play like he wants? And we're just running into the same thing. And this isn't a Tudor issue. This is a Spurs manager issue that we always run into. And that's what's frustrating, is that we bring somebody new in and we're just talking about the same issues that we talked about when Poch was here. We talked about when Conte was here, and Jose and Nuno, and on and on and on, is that we bring in a manager, and does he even have the pieces he needs to do what he wants?
And that's going to be the problem, Scott, isn't it? Is it a case of square pegs, round holes again? I've read that hopefully Porro and Richarlison will be back for Arsenal. Whether that throws any hope into your thoughts, I don't know. But at least, he's got another 2 senior players, hopefully, that'll be able, he's there to pick from at the end of the day. And it makes the bench that little bit stronger with 2 more should-be senior players that they replace, maybe going onto the bench, whatever. We can't keep going along with this, I don't know, whatever you call it, 12, 13, 14 players, whatever we've got. Somehow, one way or another, before the end of the season, we've got to try and get some of these players back, right? And do you think a change of manager might sort of hurry a couple back so they can get back in the team, maybe? I don't know. Just a quiz question.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. Look, if the option is, we've had guys on the bench that we aren't, they're just names filling out, right? Some of the youth players, they're not getting out there, and people, Byfield, I think, got a few minutes here and there, which is nice, but it is, I guess, nice that a manager has somebody that they might actually use, even if it's as bad as a Richarlison, who I don't really know if he adds much, but yeah, I mean, that's the question that anybody who was coming in, not just Tudor, it's not like we were just a manager away. Right? It's not like we just needed a new manager. Here we go. The players are hurt no matter who the manager is. The players aren't good enough. As much as many fans want to think that it was just Frank who got us in this position. I mean, this is a problem with the club. This is the players in large part have us in this position because they're not good enough, especially the players who are playing now are not good enough. So he's coming into a position where he's behind the 8 ball in terms of being able to get results. Now, I think he's lucky because he's also coming into a situation where none of the fans are going to blame him. If he loses against Arsenal, it won't be his fault. If he loses against Fulham, very few people are going to blame him. Even if he got us relegated, I think the majority of the problem is going to be, well, Frank got us relegated. He couldn't do anything about it. So he has that benefit, but I don't know if that's going to be much help to him feeling that he has he's going to be given a free pass by our fans that, if he doesn't get the results that he wants, because I got to imagine he doesn't really care. He doesn't seem like someone either who cares really what the fans think. He wants to come in as much as we might not want him here. He does clearly want to come in to get good results, right? That's what that's what he wants. So, but it's going to be tough. Him using these players, like, that is a tough ask for anyone who was coming in.
Yeah.
As I say to you guys, when was the last time we constantly used a 3 at the back? Is it Conte?
Yeah, we tried it one game under Ange. I think Frank played it for not even one game. I don't even think under Ange it lasted a game. I think it was a half. Frank I guess he played it against PSG for the game. Then some people have debated whether we played a 3 at the back against City. I think it was only 3 at the back because in defense we were so City pinned us back so much that first game where we won, and that it kind of looked like a 3 at the back because we were so deep. But yeah, Conte was the last time we regularly did it.
Yeah, so it's been a hell of a long time really since we've actually gone to a system like this rather than the back 4.
But have we got enough fit players? Look, we've got Romero's out suspended. You've got Van der Ven. You've got Dragusin. They're your only fit 2 centre backs apart from Byfield. Yeah, that can play centre back.
I think if you did it, you would have to think about putting Palhinha in as one of the centre backs.
Yeah.
And then have like Gallagher play with somebody, whether that's, I guess that would be Sarr. Gallagher and Sarr in the 2. Thinking of his Gallagher and Sarr in the 2, and then, like I said, Muani and why can't I think of his name? Simmons next to each other, and then Solanke, I would assume, would be at the front. You could do something like that. If you're just, again, I'm only reading about this online, but if he does have that kind of that 3-4-2-1, you could set something up like that with Palhinha as a center back, because Byfield, you can't be playing him in this game. You can't be playing him against Arsenal in a back 3, which I don't know how often he's played in a back 3. No. And I mean, I trust Van de Ven has probably done it a lot in Holland, and Dragusin did it as well. But I mean, again, like Mark's saying, when is the last time we regularly trained this way? So then you're asking Byfield to go into a position where he's not fully comfortable doing against Arsenal. I think that's a lot to ask.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, also, I would say as well, though, that the people we've brought in 2 or 3 years ago to be players wing backs in Destiny and Porro for the last 2 or 3 years have been trained as a right and left back.
Yeah.
Now they're going to be honest, I don't think they're great wing backs either, because they don't get down the line. They don't cross fantastically. Certainly Destiny doesn't have any GA hardly at all. So his main system to play these wing backs, at least one, if not 2, haven't played that way in a long time, and aren't great at it.
Yeah. Let me refer to my little notepad. Right. I've got a couple of questions that let me remember that one. I've got a couple of not questions so much, but really good points that are starred that came down in the chat. Now, this is his record that Finn's put up. Thanks very much, Finn. I'm still learning to use clicky things that you can show everyone. I'm not confident in doing that yet, so I appreciate this, Finn. Finn says Udinese had lost 11 games straight. He took over 1-2, drew one of their last 4 to keep them up. At Lazio, he only lost 1 of 9 to get them a European spot, and at Juve, he lost 1 of 11 to get Champions League. Very interesting, that, I think, that he's managed to do it more than once in a different, sphere of the game, but he's managed to do that. That's got to be a little bit of a plus, lads, isn't it? Would you not say? Ish?
Yeah, I would like to look to see. I don't know. I mean, 1-2 drew 1 of their last 4 is kind of a pretty small sample size, but maybe, you could hope that it would be, right? I think the reality is, then somebody else said he lost his last 8 games at Juve. So,
yes.
I think you could probably look with this guy, especially with how many clubs he's been at, you could probably look at a lot of situations where you could say, oh, this might be good or this might be bad, right? You can kind of spin it around. But sure, yeah, I guess looking at that, maybe he does have something. You read about him and it sounds like the one thing that he has done is kind of get teams together, although he also alienates players. So I wonder if he's one of those coaches who kind of is like brings you together by we're all together, but people who aren't there, like, get out. And I'm not sure you really have time for that kind of at this stage in the season. So, but yeah, if he's done it, maybe he's the European Sam Allardyce, as I saw somebody say today.
Yeah.
Right? He's done it in Europe, but I do think the concerning thing that you might say in counter to that is Udinese doesn't play in the Premier League. Lazio doesn't play in the Premier League. Juve doesn't play in the Premier League. Not to say like, the Premier League is so special, but different leagues, different scenarios, right? And
yeah, absolutely. Yep. Listen, it's a wait and see game on this one, isn't it? We've just got it's one of them almost like a hit and hope, I suppose you would say, and we just got to hope that this fella's the right bloke. And this one from David Clark as well. Thanks, David, again. He's put some stats in, played 351, won 156, drawn 81, lost 104, goal difference 4.558, against 4.37, plus 121 goals. He's known as a front foot physical type coach with wing backs, plays a high line, so you Ange fans will be pleased. Interesting. Is it that high, his high line? Does anyone know by any chance? I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. I would say from an Italian point of view, knowing how they like to play football, that is based on possession-based football. Would you not say? They're scoring goals and they must be having to have the ball to play.
I would say certainly when he's at Juve, that would be the case.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I honestly, I don't know much. I'm only know to read about this guy. I couldn't tell you anything. So I wish I could offer more, but
my only thing with something like Juve, especially, surely they've got the players to score the goals that his football would work. As Scott said, I'm not sure we've got the goal scorers for his system to work. That would be my thing. And as well, if you've only got 12 or 13 fit players and you're playing that in high intensity football, especially as we're going to have some of them two games a week, especially maybe 3, how's that going to work? I think it's a massive risk.
Yeah, it's huge. Has anyone seen what the general consensus is around the different YouTube chats? Because I haven't really had a chance. I've been on other people's all night, but the consensus I get, I don't know what you two think, is that it's almost like it's very underwhelming. It's very left field, almost grabbing at the last straw. Can this fella, he's been put forward, and it bothers me because he was put forward in December, and basically threw to one side. No, we don't want him. And then all of a sudden, Paratici's gone. Yeah, and the connection's all there. And I know you might think it's all a load of old crap, but I don't think Vinay and Lang have done this at all, the same as they didn't get rid of Thomas Frank. I don't know what you guys think on it. I just think it's non-football people trying to do a football person's job. And that's nothing against IgorTudor whatsoever. Nothing against him at all. But again, it seems like it's people that don't know much about football, maybe grasping at a straw from the outside to try and stop Tottenham Hotspur from relegation. I don't know. Am I going a bit over the top with that, or is that a bit wild? I don't know. What do you think, lads?
Well, I think you're spot on. To be honest, I think they've had not a Scooby Doo, and they've had to call up Paratici again to say, any ideas? Have you got us anything you can help with? And they've sort of gone crawling to him yet again because there is no plan. Absolutely no plan. As I said, all the people I've spoken to and everything I've watched on YouTube, it's just so underwhelming. This guy, it's a nothing type hit and hope again. It's completely, for me, completely wrong.
Fair play. I'll come to you. Go on, Scott. You go first before I ask the next bit.
Well, I haven't watched many shows today. I've been at work for all the morning, which is why I have my lovely shirt on here. But what I have seen, Mark, I think you're in the same group chat, a lot of questions about who's making this decision. That's what I've seen. Mostly I've tried to watch a little bit. I've seen a lot of questioning, like that, more questions than like confidence. Not necessarily negativity, but just like who's making this decision, right? If Paratici making this decision, why are Vinay and Lang still employed at the club? If Paratici made this decision, or he was the one that they're going based off his recommendations, why did we just let Lang run our January transfer window, right? Like, I can't imagine that something changed so much in the 2 weeks since the window closed for them to say, oh, now we can't have Lang making decisions anymore. So from what I've seen, people are just trying to figure out, like, why is this the guy? What is he going to bring? And most importantly, I think from a bigger picture is, what does this mean for the club? Are we really saying now Matthew Collicott or the people that have no football experience are making decisions? And I know lots of people will be happy by the idea that Lang and Vinay aren't making decisions because they don't like them. But the option isn't then to have non-football people make decisions. That's not good. Like, we don't want Collicott and Charrington making decisions. We want football people making the decisions. So if we don't trust Lang and Vinay to make decisions, they should have been gone, right? And there should be somebody coming in hired to replace them who's a football person. Like, hiring the manager should be made by somebody who's a football person and has football expertise. That's my view. I don't think it's a crazy view either. And if Lang and Vinay aren't there, which is fine, I don't want them there, then replace them. But if they are there and they are running the football side of the club, then the board shouldn't be stepping in and making a decision like this. That's what I think. And I think a lot of people have similar kind of questions around it.
I agree with you, mate. I totally agree. But the problem is, though, Scott, is that there's such a lack of, I don't know, football intelligence, if you like, upstairs, that, I don't get why people like Collicott are overruling, Lang and Vinay. And again, coming the other way, it looks like the DOF that was sort of half in charge that left, he put this fella forward. They've wiped it away straight away, like I said, and then he's gone. But Tudor's come. It just doesn't make sense to me. You might as well have had him in December, because you're not telling me they didn't know it was going wrong in December. That was back then, November, December. That's when we were all saying, Spurs, be careful, because we can see where you're going. Do you know what I mean? And like Mark says, it is underwhelming. It is a bit underwhelming for the fans, I think. But you know, we're not going to be able to change that decision now. And I think at the end of the day, Scott, you know, we can criticise, and Mark, sorry, we can criticise and critique. But I think, you know, if he gets us over the line with what he's got, fair play to him. You know, if he gets us away from, if he keeps us up, fair play to him. Because I think personally that he's got a massive job on his hands to lift these players off the floor. They've got no confidence whatsoever. You know, they're lolloping around as if the manager didn't exist. Do you know what I mean? Again, Thomas Frank, whether you liked him, whether you hated him, whether he weren't your cup of tea or not, some of these players, I think, had took over that changing room and were ignoring him at best. At best. So,
Mark, can I ask you a question then, and the other Mark as well?
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, since the window ended, right, in February,
yeah,
our results were Man City 2-2, Man United 2-0, Newcastle 2-1.
yeah.
Are we really saying that those 3 games changed their opinion? Like, you know what? We didn't have anything really. Like, yes, the Newcastle game was bad, but if those 3 games changed your opinion on what you were going to do with the manager, like, that's pretty poor, right?
Yeah.
So they had, like you said, Mark, they had to have this in mind, and they then just went through a transfer window where, knowing that they're probably going to sack the manager, they didn't do anything to help the squad. They didn't bring any play. Like, it wouldn't make sense if you said, "Oh, we brought in a quality left back that can play a wing back," because we know we're thinking about Igor Tudor, and he wants to play with wing backs, and we can't play with wing backs because we don't have them, right? Like, if you would have said, "Oh, look, we brought in 2 wing backs here to play for us," great, you can see something, but they didn't. So it just seems like we're talking about all the time, right? We're not planning. This wasn't planned. This was a reactionary move.
Again,
a reactionary move, because the board sounds like the board got frustrated about us losing all the time, and because they're not football people, they just say, "Well, let's sack him now." And because they don't think about, well, should we have sacked him when we had a window? Oh, should we maybe have brought in players that this new manager might like to use or might fit his system?
Yeah.
Because that's not the way they think, and that's why you get proper football people in there. And as much as I hate Lang, and I think he's terrible, at least he's a football person that thinks about football things. Now, he shouldn't be in charge, but again, if he isn't in charge, then sack him.
I can't believe, I say it again, I can't believe he's still here, Scott, to be honest with you. You know, when Thomas Frank went, I thought the next word was going to be, and Johan Lang's gone as well. I just can't believe this. They're here, mate. I really can't believe it. Swifty straight in, Igor Tuner. What are we doing? There we go. Yeah, he's been on a lot, David says. 98% of these Spurs fans have destroyed him before he's even stepped in the door. But that's typical of those Spurs fans. If he gets a result, they will pick holes in it. I just want him to just get 4 wins, mate. David, I don't care how he does it, by hook or by crook. I don't care if it's shit football. I really don't give a toss if it's 4-1 nils. I'm not bothered. I'm really not. Just don't get relegated.
Yeah, I don't think it's right that we've destroyed him. We just don't know anything about him enough to destroy him, to be honest. That's the thing. He's a sort of complete unknown, to be honest. And as you said, Mark, if he comes in and saves us from relegation, gets 4 wins, we'll hail him as a legend, probably. So,
I think, Mark, if we go down, as much as we want Enoch out and all that, I mean, let's think actual football. Forget about Enoch for a minute and their input or lack of it, shall we say. What does it do for Tottenham Hotspur as a club and as being a fan? Yeah, what does it do for Spurs as a club to be relegated? Anyone can know. Just give me your opinion.
I think it'll completely devastate the club. If Spurs went down, there's no way I could definitely say we'd even get back up. We could be in the doldrums for years and years and years, and a circle of having to buy bang average players, selling a squad. It'll be a catastrophe, a big catastrophe.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the comment. Yeah, I agree with that, mate, because I think if we go down, they'll fire sale.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Anything that's worth anything, they'll get rid of. Right. And you'll have your senior players will be your Oddie Bears, your Greys, your Bergvalls, that type of player. And then they'll bring in more youth again, and then you might get a couple of free. That's free the number. Championship type players to, bolster your squad for your 46 games, maybe. I don't know. That's where I'm at with it. And the problem is, if you go down and you do that, yeah, you know how difficult it is to come back up again. And I think, like Mark says, if we don't come straight back up, if we did go down, right, and sorry for looking on the negatives, I will look on the good side of it in a minute. I just don't think that we've got it, Mark, to come back up straight away. And I really don't. And then for me, it all looks like that it's all pointing towards Pochettino in the summer. But could you see him coming to a championship club, whether it's Tottenham or not? I've seen fans saying he loves us. He'll still come. Don't worry. He'll bring us up and da. But I don't know. What do you think, mate? I can't see it myself. I might be totally wrong, but it's just me.
No, not. There's no way he'd come. Let's be honest. And let's be honest. What the recruitment, the board, whoever's in charge, you can't trust this lot. To be honest, they've made such a mess time and time again. The war chest, the money they've got over. I mean, how many more lies are this club going to dangle on the fans on? It's all bollocks, mate. Let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. It's all rubbish. I couldn't trust him as far as I can throw him.
Agreed, mate. Agreed. So if he keeps us up, Mark, for argument's sake, and Scott, let's look on the positive side. Yeah, he gets the 4 wins. We're all sweet and happy. We get to the end of the season. What happens next? It's the big question of the night. Igor,
I'll say
what happens next.
This is my concern, is that people seem to think is that we get through this, we get Poch, all is good. If we get through this and we go into next season without massive upgrades to the squad, we're doing the same thing next year. Maybe not quite this bad, but we're looking at 10th to 15th next year. Like, that's what I think we have to understand. This is not just a Frank issue. This is not just a one-season injury issue. This is a squad issue that's been going on for years. The squad, since Poch's peak team, and that isn't the team that went to the Champions League final, right? I think Poch's peak team was the season before, or the last season in White Hart Lane, right?
Yeah.
Once we started to sell off pieces from that, right? Once we lost Dembele, once we're losing Wanyama, we lost Walker. Like, it's been a downgrade every year. And yes, Kane and Son were able to paper over cracks. Conte was able to get us higher up the league than we deserved to be. But you saw once he left, we sure dropped down to 8th pretty quick that year. We got lucky. The first 10 games of the Ange season, I know everybody hates when you say it, but you could see after those first 10 games, we were on pace to be 12th for the rest of the season. Last year, we were 17th. This year, we see where we are. Like, we can see the trend are there. The signs are there. This squad is not good enough. And if we think that it's just, Frank and the injuries were the reason this happened, get Poch in and everything's solved, not even close. Not even close. Well, we may not be in a relegation fight next year, but we won't be doing anything impressive. We'll be 10th to 15th, complaining about why Poch can't get us up higher above the table by whichever team is the Brentford of this year, because next year Brentford will go back to where they normally are, and there'll be some other team that has a magical season, because there always is, right? There always is some team that has a magical season And our fans will be complaining, why did Team X have this great season, not us? And it won't be on because our players aren't good enough. It'll be because of another reason.
Scott, the first thing they're going to have to do with Poch is sign him a world-class striker because he hasn't got that for starters. His team had a world-class striker and a fantastic left winger. There's two players that he hasn't got at the moment. So I've said for a while now, I think, same with Frank, Poch is being brought back to work with these youngsters and make them better. I think this board think they've spent a lot of money on these so-called fantastic youth we've got, and they're trying to. Poch will not get a lot of what he wants. I don't think he'll get a lot of proper first-team players. I think he'll get a couple again, and then he'll be required to turn water into wine with this youth again. And I'm afraid this youth is being drastically overrated. It isn't as good as what people think it is.
And there you go. And it all leads to, you know, what we were saying, going down. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
You know what happens, because as rubbish as you think some of the senior players might be, or not up to it, or whatever, you know, again, anyone who's worth anything, they're going to sell it. Honestly, they will sell it. Van der Ven, Romero, anyone, they're all gone. Solankis, they'll be gone. They'll get what they can for them, and they'll be gone.
Well, Mark, you know, I think you probably both know Wayne Holland. He's in the community.
Yeah,
Leicester fan.
yeah.
And talking to him, and if you look at Leicester, what happened was they went down, and they were able to come back up that year. But one of the concerns is their team was so poor because they were able to compete that 1 year in the championship, but they stripped down their team. So when they came back up, they went right back down, right? Because the team was so poor. So even if we did manage to, maybe we could get up. When you get back to the Premier League, your team is stripped, right? We're not going down to the Premier League and keeping Romero and Van de Ven and Porro and all those players, right? So even if we go down and we can keep some players, the team you come back up with needs even more work than the team that we have now. That's where we have to realize, right? Right now, we still do have Romero. We might think Van de Ven is leaving, right? We might think that but we have something there. The team that we would then come back up with would have even more holes. And the same owner is unwilling to fix those holes. So that's where the real concern is that maybe you can come up, right? That first year, you might be able to retain a couple of players that are, right? Maybe Solanke stays around, who I don't love, but would be fine in the championship, right? And he might be able to get us 20 plus goals in the championship, get us back to the Premier League. But the amount of work that our squad would need when we came back up that year would be massive, even bigger than it is now. If we even get back up, it would be so incredibly detrimental. It could be 5+ years. And I know that sounds like crazy, but it could be. Like, it is not that easy to come right back up in the championship. And we saw it. Villa was down there for a few years. They weren't as big maybe as you think that we are now, but they were bigger than every other club in the championship. So if you think, oh, that's fine, we can just spend more than those teams in the championship and come up. Villa was bigger than all of them. Leeds has gone up and down at times, right? And they're bigger than all of those clubs, right? Leeds has more money than most of those clubs down there in the championship, if not all of them, right? They can come back up. It's not that easy, and we've seen it. And last point I will make, because I think we all are here, Enoch out. I think it makes it less likely that Enoch sells. That's my personal view, is that I don't think it's that attractive, right? A Qatari team might not want to come in. Or if they are, they're going to say, hey, you're in the championship. We're taking off a couple $100 million or $1 billion. And they're not going to take that, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No, was it Niall's comment? Yeah, back here. He's pretty sure, Niall, that we're not going down. He's 100% Niall, I've got to say to you, mate, I'm not saying that we're guaranteed to go down, fella. I'm really not. I'm just, more than saying we're going down, I'm saying I'm just really worried that we haven't got the, I don't know, testicular fortitude, if you like. There's a great couple of words, to pull ourselves out of it. Have we got the bollocks when the going gets tough this season? Yeah. And for me, this fella that's coming in, this Tudor, one thing I have read about him is that he's not afraid to say his piece in the dressing room, and he's not afraid to get stuck in on the touchline. So let's hope that's true, Mark. I mean, I think we need a bit of this in our game, and some of these players need to understand the position that we're in at the moment.
Well, interesting comment, to be honest, because I've heard quite a lot of comments about Angie's motivation speeches and how the Spurs community have been love the fluffy stuff that we're going to compete in the league and don't want the truth. I'm not sure how these players are going to react to a manager coming in, ripping them a new one. He's 6'3", 6'4", big guy. You're not going to square up to him. I'm just not sure how these players are going to react, because obviously Ange told them that they were brilliant. They're going to win the Europa League, this, that, and the other. They've never really had anybody tell him that they're, to pull their fucking finger out or this. I just don't know what they're going to do. Are they going to crumble?
Mate, it could happen. It really could happen. But, he's only got to walk in and say the wrong thing and someone takes offence, and then there you go. The magic, it all starts again, doesn't it, mate?
Yeah, absolutely.
It all starts again. There you go. David's comments already. A manager can be judged on performance depends on what he can control. Certain managers don't have control of aspects of the club, and that can be damaging if he doesn't get control of transfers and etc. I get where you're coming from on that, David. This fella is just in to the end of the season, so you haven't got to worry about transfers with him. His job is to make sure that Tottenham get basically 12 points, 4 wins. Yeah, if we get 4 wins, they'll be all right. If we don't get the 4 wins and West Ham or whoever get on a run, then we're looking over our shoulders again. And again, I'll say, for example, this weekend or next weekend, Spurs have got Arsenal. If you asked 100 people, probably 95 of them would say Arsenal win. Right? Just because of the massive disparity, the gap in the teams and the form and everything. Now, you've got a new manager and you're going to get a little bounce, maybe, right? So the result could be different. You might nick a draw. Who knows? We won't know till the day. But, David, he's got to get 4 wins. He's got to get those 12 points. That's what he's brought in for. And like someone said in Danil's chat earlier, Mark, or it might have been earlier on in here, he's probably on a bonus, Mark, to keep us up. I've got no doubt he's getting well paid if he keeps us up. And, again, we all don't know a lot about this fella. We can all sit and research over the next couple of days, I suppose. But he's got a job to do, Scott, and he's got to get on with it. And some way, somehow, whether it be on the field, whether it be his tactics, how he talks to people in the dressing room. And the other thing that bothers me is, lads, about this is that we had some other points that were made earlier. Are Frank's coaching staff still in place? Are they all still there? As far as I know, yes, they are. And is Tudor coming in on his own to work with Frank's backroom staff? Or are any of Tudor's people coming in, if he's got any? Could that be awkward for Tudor if he's got to come in and work with people that obviously he hasn't been associated with before?
Yeah, I don't know. You see some managers who really like to take, you see Poch has his 2 guys that he's always with him, right? And I think that's obviously helpful. You would like to think that there's at least 1 or 2 that's coming with him because, again, you have such a short period of time here. You kind of want to be able to have him just say, hey, go out there and you know what to do, right? Now there's basic drills I'm sure that any manager can do and say, hey, this is what I want to see, but you don't have much time to implement what you want in this team. You don't have much time to implement changes in this team. And if you don't have guys, if you have to coach the coaches as well as coach the players, I mean, it just takes time, right? It just takes time away from what needs to be done. I would think, though, ultimately, they're all professionals. Like, we as fans like to put our own, how we would react as fans. But the reality is these coaches that were with Frank, they might be disappointed for him. They might be angry. They probably want to think about moving on in the summer. But I think, they've invested in this, in the Spurs. They have some connection to it, not as strong as ours, but something. And I think they'll do what they need to be done, obviously. But yeah, I think there's questions to be asked. Again, we keep asking questions, is if he wants to come in and implement the back three and he has a certain style he wants to play, how much does it hurt to do that? How much does it help if you have your own guy? They know what you want to do. Here's what coach wants. Bam, bam, bam. Rather than, I think this is what coach wants. Now let me go check with him and I'll tell you what you want and you've never worked with him.
Yeah. Yeah, your thoughts on that side of it, Mark? Is it just a case of he's just got to get on with it, suck it, and get on with it, basically?
Yeah, I agree with Scott. We bring one or two staff in. He's obviously not going to get a full backroom staff at all. It's a real tricky. I know we've got a little period where he can sort of drill into these players that make some changes, this, that, and the other, but. Yeah, I don't think it'll be necessary this game that matters as much because we're so far the underdog in this match. It's not even worth speaking about, really. I think it's the next game and the next game after that and so it's whether we get points or results in them ones that really matter. It's going to be hard. As I said before, West Ham were in trouble. They bought in the 2 or 3 players they needed. We went into January window and bought a 19-year-old left back and a midfielder. Yeah. It just didn't make any sense at all.
No, agreed, mate. Agreed. Yeah, listen. I think the geezer's got a big task on his hands at the end of the day, and I'm not struggling to see how he does it, but I just think. It's a massive change to come into the Premier League with, and I'm not saying he's not experienced, he obviously is, but it's a different beast. Do you know what I mean? It's not Italian football. And again, before I don't want to get jumped on. I wish this geezer all the best. I hope he is the right man to do the job and get us over the line. I'm not gonna, sit here slating the fella when a ball ain't been kicked yet. And again, I want everyone to get behind him, get behind the players, whether you think they're good enough or not, because I'll say it again, relegation is not an option for this football game. Even if you want ENIC out, and you want to see them destroyed, they ain't going to sell while you're in the Championship. By hook or by crook, they're going to try and get you back in the Premier League again. Go on.
What? Yeah, sorry. What I was thinking, a very interesting point that no one's brought up with is obviously we're so focused on the league. Nobody's even spoke about the Champions League now.
No.
Nobody's even said about the Champions League. I've not heard one person on YouTube mentioned about this guy in European football. That's been completely put on the back burner at all. It's like that doesn't matter now. It's all about the league.
Yeah, there's not been a lot of talk about the Champions League, to be fair, Scott, has there? It's been very quiet on that front, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe it's out of sight, out of mind, right? Like we've qualified and we haven't really been thinking about it. It's also because I think we're pretty realistic about what's happening with that, right? We need a lucky upset and a lucky draw to maybe have a chance, but beyond that, it's going to be. Even if we somehow got past the next round, it's going to be Barcelona or Chelsea in that round, and we're done. So I don't even know.
Who chooses which players to go in now? Because before you would have thought the 3 coming in would have been Frank's choice. Whose choice is it now?
I guess it's at the round. I don't know. When does that happen? I don't know the details of that. Have we already?
Yeah. Does anyone know when the draw? When that's up to? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how it
that's
works.
gonna work.
But
Big up, John, by
again,
the way. Big up, mate. I agree.
I would
with
hope
this
that they
point.
would get Tudor to do it, right? You would hope so, but
Well, I agree. I agree with this, Scott. I was gonna talk about this earlier, and it went out of my mind. But Finn's, put it up on the thing. He seems designed for short-term success. When you look at his profile, he's that one of the lads on another show brought it up earlier. 75 odd appearances as manager for Highdrach Split, which was his first job, and then all the other jobs that he's had under that, he hasn't been at them clubs for very long, whether he had been sacked for whatever reason or if he was an interim. I think he was an interim at one of them. Again, no, it is what it is. And another point someone made earlier as well, which I've just remembered in the chat, was he the one that was available? Was that it? Had they looked for other people, that we don't know about, and it hasn't worked out, and then all of a sudden, this fella's available? It's so left field for me, so left field, that I actually think in a really strange kind of way that it could work because it's something different going in. The more I think about it, I don't know, lads. I'm a bit confused by it all, to be fair. My head's spinning a bit with it, and I think it's just strange. Do you know what I mean? But in a strange way, in being totally different to what these players have been used to, maybe, perhaps he can instill some confidence in them. I don't know. I think, again, lads, he's got a massive job to do in one way, shape or form to get the best out of these players.
I mean, I think it was Scott that made a good point in one of the chat room earlier on YouTube. Wouldn't it just be Spursy after 5 games and 5 losses? He got sacked and we had to bring Harry back in for the last 6 or 7 just to survive. That would not surprise me one bit at all.
No, not if it all goes wrong.
That wasn't me, but I like that. I like that comment. That wasn't me. No, that's good. But that's a good one.
It's mad, isn't it? I don't know.
I mean, what I have at all, not
go on, Scott.
But as we've been talking about it, is a lot of people talk about the new manager bounce, and I think it is something that is a little bit overstated. I went kind of looked at it this year, right? Like Ange came into Forest and he lost, or he didn't win in 8 games, right? The manager at Wolves, I can't remember how many, it was like 10 games in a row. Now that he kept losing. Nuno came in and West Ham were 18th, and I think they're still 18th, or maybe they've moved up now. But like, there's a lot of times where we think about, Michael Carrick came in and he did well. And I think those kind of stick out well, right? When the new manager bounce happens, we remember it. When the new manager bounce doesn't happen, we kind of forget about those times. But there is a little bit of people really relying on a new manager bounce.
Yeah.
And I think there's also, like everything, of course, there's reasons why a new manager bounce is likely to happen at Man United when you have Cunha, Bruno Fernandes, Mbeumo up there scoring goals for you than it is at Wolves, where you still have all the same problems. And my concern is I think we're closer to the Wolves of the world than we are to even Manchester United, where I don't think we have players, and Mark's been saying it all stream. We don't have a Mbeumo and Cunha to come in and start scoring those goals, right? We don't have someone that he can come in and like get them to take that next step up. And that's where the concern comes in, is that does the new manager bounce come because that manager can get something out of them? But where you see it not happening is where the teams, because let's be honest, most teams that sack their managers are bad. And they're bad for a reason, and it's not just because of the manager, right? And that's the concern that we're going to have here is. But it is, you've shown some stats where you could say, yes, he might be a guy who comes in, and it kind of sounds like he's a bit of a hard ass, as you would say, right?
Yeah.
Lots of times that works in a short term, but then people get tired of it.
That's right.
Especially these players nowadays, right? Like, I'm not so much of the old man yelling at a cloud. Players are soft these days, but the reality is players make so much money compared to in the olden days, right? if players will say, "Oh, you're going to yell at me, I just won't listen to you," and I don't care because I've already have my Ferrari at home. I already have my summer home on the beach. I already have this. Who cares what the manager says? Whereas back in the day, when you were making money, not money at this level, not generational wealth, right? If the manager told you to beat it, you'd have to go out and get a real job for in your life. So you had to listen to him. So he might be a guy. It does sound like he might have that, right? Where he comes in, he lays down the law, everybody toes the line for a little bit, but then that starts to get tiresome. And if you're only here for 14, or how many games do you have left? 13 games now, is that right?
12, 13, yeah.
Yeah,
Plus
if you're only here for that amount of time, maybe that his attitude doesn't start to wear on you as it would when you're there for over the full season.
Yeah.
But again,
yeah,
as you said, I think hidden hope. Was that you, Mark? So
yeah.
Hidden hope, right? Like that's what we're doing.
It feels like it. It feels like it. Here's a question from Niall. He says, "Are Man City happy we got this dude, or would they rather we had Frank for the Arsenal game?" My thing is, I'm sure that Pep is really chuffed that we've got a new manager because, like I said earlier on, I'm sure that Mikel Arteta is doing his due diligence on IgorTudor and how he plays and whatever else, and it's down to IgorTudor to work out how we do something against Arsenal. I don't know. It's madness. Wolves F1 says the draw is the 27th of February, Friday, 2 weeks' time. Spurs could face Chelsea quarter-final, Arsenal semi-final, and Liverpool in the final. Cool. Could you imagine that? Eh? I'll tell you what I'm sick of. I had to get premium in the end. It was driving me mad, Every time I watched the stream, an advert coming in, it was that Poxy Saka doing that advert. Every time it drove me up the effing wall, mate. Honestly. And in the end, a thing come up on my phone and it said, "Do you want free premium for a month?" And I thought, anything to stop looking at this numbnuts. He's driving me up the wall. But there you go. It is what it is. The joys, eh? Tudor equals Enoch. Big up, Paul. And Dominic said, "We'll catch you tomorrow, Cookie. Interesting times ahead." Yes. And on that note, that's a great segue. I'd like to thank Scott and Mark for both coming on this evening. We've just done a quick hour. We're back for the brunch in the morning when I believe the Sheriff will be on at some stage after his night out tonight. So big up to you, Sheriff. Thanks, everyone, for being in. Really enjoyed a little chat. Back at 9:30 in the morning. Scott, Mark, thanks very much for jumping on, fellas. Really appreciate it. And Jimmy, if it ain't bouncing for that, mate, then I ain't got a clue. The same would be, what are we doing here? Love to you all. See you in the morning. Take care, everyone. Big up to you all.